Hello neighbors, it's Brad here from Etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the PullRite SuperGlide sliding fifth wheel hitch. Now this is going to be for an OEM prep package on GM trucks, and today we have it on a 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500. And this is a 6-foot bed rather than a long bed, and something I'd recommend to anyone looking at fifth wheels with a shorter bed is looking at a sliding option. And that way you can make sharp turns. You're not going to get yourself in a bind where you have to unhook the truck and trailer, and generally you're going to find those at campsites or trying to park it in a tight spot or getting into a gas station. And manual slides are a really great option because they're a quick way to hop out of the truck, pull the handle, pull forward, make that turn, and then you can lock it back into place. But if you don't ever want to get out of the truck and have the hitch do it for you, you're left with really only a few options. The Demco Auto Slide is a great option, but if you're looking for one of the best ones out on the market, I think the PullRite SuperGlide really is a fantastic option. So they've done their homework at looking at a lot of different fifth wheels and trying to solve the problems of them. So first and foremost, let's talk about the sliding feature. So as I mentioned, those manual ones out there, they're a great option. But again, if you tow all the time or you're really putting yourself in predicaments or you just don't want to have to get out of your truck and you can make that turn, this works with a capture plate. So you see the fifth wheel here, but you are going to need to get a specific capture plate for the SuperGlide that goes onto your kingpin. And what that's going to do is lock that into the head. And that way, when you make the turn, this is going to rotate one way or the other and draw back 14 inches. So that's really going to make sure that you definitely have the space to make that turn. And then when you start to tow and straighten everything out, it'll go back exactly where it needs to, and if you turn the other way, it's going to rotate. So that takes, again, having to get out, pop that handle, which is all small things in the grand scheme, but again, this is a premium fifth wheel hitch, and so it's the things that you should expect, making your life a little bit easier. And I will say, I think this is it's a simple system of how it works, but I think it's one of the most effective. The Demco Auto Slide is a really cool system as well. The downside and drawback with that one is it's super, super heavy. It uses a gear system, which is also a nice smooth transition. It'll automatically go back. But PullRite, I think, has kind of nailed it with this design because it is simple. Now, with that being said, you are going to want to make sure that you keep this lubricated. They're really good about laying all those out in the instruction manual, but it is something that you are going to want to put a little bit of preventative maintenance in this each time you use it. Whereas some of your other ones, there's really not a whole lot of maintenance to do with them, but again, you're going to be getting a lot of cool features with this. Something that I noticed when dropping this into the bed is it's an OEM prep, which is pretty normal. You drop it in and tighten down the handles, but tolerances from the factory, whether it be from the manufacturer or GM, sometimes they're going to be a little bit off, and then you're stuck with handles that may not want to latch without the use of a dead blow hammer or get loose, by hand. And PullRite's found that to be a problem previous, and they designed that into the SuperGlide. And the way that that's accomplished is a little bit different than your traditional handles. Most of them just have that puck style that is already in place. These are actually removable, so twofold. You can adjust these with a plate to get it perfectly dialed in so it's nice and smooth, but also if you're someone that wants to take this out of your bed to use your truck as a truck again, once those are pulled out, it's flat on the bottom. So you can pull this whole assembly out, which it's actually a little bit lighter than some of those others out on the market, but you're not going to have those 4 posts dragging along your bed. It's going to be a flat surface, so you could pop those out, put a piece of cardboard and slide it along, and it just is going to prevent some of that scratching from occurring. So as I loosen this, I've actually moved the plates here to where this slides out. You can see it's a little bit different. It's just got a roll pin in this shaft. There is a castle nut that you can adjust the tension, but this whole plate with just a socket, I was able to loosen this up, really get it fine-tuned, and that way, when I'm ready to, this simply drops in. Whereas, if this was fixed, you may have to shave off some of those burrs or really just work in the tolerances until it's smooth. Now, on the side towards the cab, there's actually a brass drop-in, and that's going to sit into the OEM prep spot, and then your arm's going to go into it. So that is going to make sure that it keeps the fifth wheel in place as you're latching it all down and kind of helps align it as well. Now, along with picking a slider for a short bed, something else that I recommend for every fifth wheel is going to be an articulating head. So obviously we have front to back movement, and that's going to move around as we get this all hooked up, but also as you're going down the road, it's going to allow you to do that. But also side to side, we have articulation in this point right here. And while I'm not as heavy as a trailer, I can still move this, and that's really going to contour as you're trying to latch up. And again, it's going to take away some of that blow as you're going down the road, any chucking or jarring around. Now, looking at the jaw, this is something that everyone wants to know. This is kind of obviously what's holding your camper onto your fifth wheel. So the jaw design really does, it becomes very important. And so as we open this up, you're gonna see this is completely wrapped around that kingpin. So there's no way it can get loose here. So as we roll this back, you can see it'll be ready for that kingpin to come in, and then it's going to auto latch. So this spring-loaded portion here, I'm going to be careful not to get my fingers, but it will completely wrap around that kingpin. So that jaw is going to give you peace of mind that you know you're secured, and also this is super heavy-duty rated. For something that auto slides, you're coming in at 24,000 pounds for your gross trailer weight rating, so this is going to cover a lot of your fifth wheel trailers that you're going to be towing. And as far as your vertical load limit, the down pressure on here, that's going to be 6,000 pounds. So this is one of the more heavy-duty ones out there. There are maybe some extreme conditions out there where you'd have something heavier, and there are hitches available for it. But as far as the sliding goes, this one's really going to do a fantastic job at that capacity. So I mentioned a little bit earlier something that's neat about this. Even with those high capacities, it's actually a little bit lighter weight than quite a few of the ones on the market. So if you're going to be taking this in and out, it's also nice that it has those handles to take out to slide it, but you can cut down on the weight by pulling the head off, and a pretty easy design here, just a cotter pin. And we'll pull out our pin here, do that on both sides, and then the head will just raise up and out. So with that head taken off, again, that's going to eliminate a lot of weight, but I'll pull my handles out. You know, if I was to remove this, and then as I mentioned, we did have those brass fittings up front, but I can really just slide this along and it's not going to be scratching up our bed. So it's also, again, the base is really not as heavy as a lot of them out there, especially for that auto sliding feature. So a lot of great things. PullRite's definitely done their homework. They've been in the industry for a while, and people have nothing but great things to say. I think you're going to be really happy, especially if you're coming from a manual slide, or maybe you're just hopped into a short bed and you just don't want to have to deal with that manual slide. For something that you can just hook up and go, I think you're going to really love this option. Again, it's a little bit more of a premium, but I think it really makes up for it. You know, if you have to get out in the rain a couple times to manually slide it back, this might be worth a few extra dollars to give you that peace of mind that you don't even have to do that. You just put your capture plate on, hook up, and let the hitch do the rest of it for you. So really giving you the most easy and painless towing experience possible with your 2025 Chevy Silverado 3500. So this was a look at the PullRite SuperGlide OEM prep package for GM trucks, fifth wheel hitch, and hopefully if you're looking at this and wondering what's it all about, this video helped you decide if this is going to be the hitch for you.